Just a moment.
Did you know the first game BioWare developed was a mech simulator? Oh, you did? Well, I guess I'll just end the video now. That's the wind out of my sails. Released shortly before MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries, why would you do that? Shattered Steel is a slightly more simplified approach to mech action. That's simplified by mid to late 90s standards, so you should still expect to hit keys like home, end, page up, page down, and at least 3 keys with F and a number after them. It actually got criticized for this at the time, because apparently only one type of mech game is allowed to be made, and you should be shunned for deviating even slightly from that formula.
Shun the non-believer! Shun!
Anyway, story is pretty light in this game, regardless of what the CGI cutscenes on startup will tell you. You play as a nameless pilot of a planet runner, aka a mech, who's given codenames like Scout or Merc or whatever along the way. Humans are almost extinct thanks to wars over resources, and you're in the employ of a company involved with that while finding and trying to fend off a weird part organic, part mechanical alien race. Also, AI is still shit in the future.
I am the Artificial Intelligence Network Interface Coupler Mark III. Pay no attention to any unsubstantiated rumors that you may hear of problems with previous versions of the ANEX series.
3 weeks later, we find that ANIC 3 has been in communication with the alien menace, and has in fact merged consciousness with the alien central mind. You may of course have the utmost confidence in my abilities and loyalty to the Planetary Defense Forces.
There's a definite adjustment period to controlling the Planet Runner, as the whole thing can move forward and backward while the head can swivel left and right. With a mouse and keyboard, it's a bit disorienting at first to, say, end up moving sideways when you try to move forward. You can also only fire one secondary weapon at a time, manually switching between them as you do so. I did have to keep looking at the keyboard for things like view changes and bringing up the map, but outside of that, by the time I hit mission 3 or 4, I'd pretty much gotten used to the controls. Part of managing the Planet Runner is diverting a finite amount of power to 3 different areas: weapons, shields, and the motor. Giving a boost to these can help energy weapons recharge faster, shields recharge faster, or boost the Planet Runner's movement speed. Of course, that's if your weapons can recharge. More primary and secondary weapon options get discovered as the game progresses, as well as different Planet Runner types. These allow creating different loadouts with different varieties of weapons for different types of missions. However, if you do what I did, i.e. put a flat cannon and a small missile battery on board and nothing else, there's the very real possibility of running out of ammo. Either you find another dropped weapon to swap in on the fly, which, thankfully, that's an option, or you end up trying to chest bump everything to death. Which led to me discovering by accident that if you leave a previously equipped weapon in the field and leave a mission, the weapon stays gone. The mission doesn't completely end until you press a button to extract after finishing it, so there is a grace period for finding them again. I just brain farted and forgot. For certain mission types, that grace period can also lead to failing the mission after completing it, which makes me want to find the computer running the AI and say,
"Now, where's the ass on this thing?"
The same applies if your Planet Runner gets destroyed. You eject to safety, but you lose the runner and everything equipped on it. I was okay with this only because the game lets you save between every mission and carry multiple save files. Otherwise, this would be pretty devastating. And it kind of still is because saves don't happen automatically, so you can forget and then I'd rather not talk about it. As for those missions, there are 50 of them in single player across multiple planets, some of which offer branching paths, and an extra 15 multiplayer missions, if you can get multiplayer working over a quarter of a century later. These missions, among other things, range from destroying all enemies, to scouting enemy encampments, to destroying convoys, to protection and escort missions. Some even ask you to protect something while also wandering away from it to destroy enemy spawn points. Anyone who knows me well knows how much I hate protection and escort missions in any game, and Shattered Steel does have a decent amount of those. Most are actually not especially annoying to complete. But for some reason, it was decided to make the second mission in the game clearing a spot for a rather fragile rescue shuttle, then having to protect it as it loads prisoners and flies away. That's pretty dickish considering most players would still be getting used to the controls at this point. And there's not a finite number of enemies on the map, some will just keep spawning in. I had a couple instances where the shuttle flew away from me and got shot down by enemies that either I couldn't see or were out of my range. So that particular mission can rot in hell. And I will note that even with a decent plan for how to equip your planet runner and approach certain missions, some of them can still be pretty damn hard. But it's the kind of challenge I can appreciate. Environments and enemy units vary enough that I wasn't getting bored looking at the same thing over and over, though some of the insect and walker units did overstay their welcome at points. It helps that many enemies take area-specific damage, so you can't just slack off and shoot them wherever. Get them in the head or in one of the two legs they have so they fall over and explode. I mean, you could slack off, but why make it harder for yourself? That environment can be shaped, at least partially, by the player. Powerful enough weapons, namely explosives, can deform the terrain. Later in the game, this can actually be utilized to create pits or craters to trap or divert enemy ground units. Shattered Steel sold well enough and was well liked enough before its release that Shattered Steel 2 got greenlit, and exiting the game even shows a teaser for expansion packs and the sequel. But it was eventually cancelled. I can't be too pissed at that sequel getting canned though, because the resources that would have gone to that instead went toward making Neverwinter Nights, which, I mean, fair. This is normally the point where I'd say I like Shattered Steel and recommend playing it, but there's a massive asterisk next to that statement. Shattered Steel has ports available on Steam and GOG, but the ports were kinda botched. By botched, I mean the game runs at the wrong speed and makes hit detection for the player's weapons significantly worse. That's why its rating is usually mixed. It's a mix of nostalgic positive reviews and "this port is broken" negative reviews. As for how I'm playing it for this video, well, it has the same issue though to a much lesser degree. I used a custom client called Exodus, which calibrates old DOS and Windows games to run properly on modern PCs. I also have a physical copy of Shattered Steel and only recommend doing this if you already purchased it. Hopefully my lawyer's willing to work on contingency.
No, money down.